welcome to today's 7th annual Gene Vance Jr. Day. I'm your Master of Ceremonies for the day, Command Sergeant Major Dennis Riggs. We will open today's ceremony with a posting of the colors by the West Virginia Army National Guard Color Guard and the singing of the National Anthem by Staff Sergeant Samantha Wolf.
Ready, step.
Please rise for the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly strewn, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing for the prayer and the global moment of silence led by Pastor Shelley Parsons. Ms. Parsons.
Good morning. The prayer will be followed by a moment of silence. We give a moment of silence and gratitude for the lifetime of freedom we have enjoyed, thanks to the service and sacrifice of the men and women of the armed forces. Let us join our hearts, mind, and spirits in prayer. Everlasting God of righteousness and grace, as we celebrate Armed Forces Day, remind us of our complete dependence on you. We look to you for your wisdom and mercy. On this day, we ask you to keep this nation and all nations under your care, that we may be peoples who are at peace and who are a blessing to others in this earth. Grant our nation's leaders wisdom, that there would be times of peace and justice in our land and in our world. On this day, we lift up to you all who serve in our armed forces, brave men and women who risk their lives for their country. Remind us of those who are far from home and loved ones who on this day sail or fly or walk in harm's way, and keep them always close to you. Where there is combat, grant them compassion for their enemies and keep them brave in the face of evil. Hold in your loving hands the families of those who are far away. Grant them comfort in their anxieties, and comfort those who grieve because they have received the dreaded message that their loved one has died. Strengthen those who carry the wounds of war, visible and invisible, and be to them a sure presence. We remember with joy the life of Gene Vance Jr. and give thanks for the many ways he served his country. sacrificed his life for its safety, and saved the lives of his fellow soldiers. And we remember his deep love for the mountains of this state. We lift up prayers of gratitude for the foundation his life inspired and the work of healing they continue today, for those catastrophically wounded, especially those who have served our country. May those who work to heal run and not grow faint. May those supporting the Foundation's work persevere in all circumstances. Bless the cyclists today that are riding to honor Gene's life. May they endure the hills with joy and be blessed by the beauty of this area that so inspired and sustained him. Peace among all people, healing of all those injured. Some call healing and peace impossible, but with you, God, all things are possible. Instill in us that hope that through you all is possible, so we may continue the work of restoring the world to peace and justice. And on this day, keep us all grounded, not in our strength, but yours, ever relying on the promise that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will not walk and not be faint. All this we pray in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Let us take a moment to observe silence in gratitude for the lifetime of freedom we enjoy because of the service and sacrifice of the men and women of the armed forces. Amen.
Please be seated. As we begin today, I want to take a moment to thank all the officials, the representative officials, the organizations, and the people that are here today. A special recognition goes out to the fallen, to the family of the fallen, and of course, to Gene's family. We will now have tributes, greetings, and wreath layings to support this day. First of which will be the reading of the City of Morgantown Annual Gene Vance Jr. Day Proclamation, presented by the Mayor of Morgantown, Mr. Bill Kowicki.
Thank you very much. Welcome, and thank you for participating in and coming to honor this day. We appreciate your being here. On the behalf of the City of Morgantown, I have a proclamation to read. The proclamation. Whereas the 7th Annual Gene Vance Jr. Day will be observed in Morgantown, West Virginia on the 19th day of May, in honor and support of the brave service members of the United States Armed Forces, leading overseas contingency operations previously known as the Global War on Terror. Those who boldly serve, those who have fallen, and those who have been traumatically injured while safeguarding the nation. And whereas the 7th Annual Day recognizes the United States of America leadership in the longest continuing armed global conflict in the history, in memory of Staff Sergeant Gene A. Vance Jr.'s heroic and selfless actions in the U.S. response to events of 9/11 as the first National Guardsman to be killed in direct action since Vietnam, and the first West Virginia National Guardsman to die in direct action since World War II. And whereas the 7th annual day symbolizes honor, care, hope, and healing for thousands of returning as well as severely wounded veterans, their allies, respective family and community facing challenges never experienced before in history. And whereas 2018 is the 17th anniversary year of the tragic 9/11 attack on our nation, the remarkable sacrifices and the commitment of the armed forces and first responders to make to and for this nation, an unyielding dedication of the Gene Vance Jr. Foundation for the catastrophically injured are worthy of recognition, and it is fitting, therefore, that Vance, the foundation, in his honor, and the servicemen and servicewomen be honored today and every day. Now, therefore, I, William A. Kuwecki, Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, hereby proclaim the 19th day of May 2018 as Gene Vance Jr. Day in the City of Morgantown, and encourage all the citizens to join in remembrance and appreciation of the brave members of the armed forces of the United States who have served and who continue to serve in order to protect our freedoms. Thank you very much.
Next will be the reading of the State of West Virginia Citation by Delegate Barbara Flashauer from the West Virginia House of Delegates.
Thank you, and welcome everyone, and thank you for coming today. I'm very pleased to present this citation honoring and memorializing the 7th Gene Vance Jr. Day. Whereas the purpose of Gene Vance Jr. Day is not only to honor the legacy of Gene A. Vance Jr. of Morgantown, the first West Virginian to lose his life in the global war on terror, but also to recognize all of our service members, and especially to remember the fallen and support the wounded. And whereas the global war on terror was triggered by the terrorist attacks on the United States on September 11, 2001, and Sergeant Vance was a member of the West Virginia National Guard's 2nd Battalion, 9th Special Forces Group Airborne, one of the first units sent to Afghanistan. And whereas the global war on terror is now the longest ongoing war in U.S. history, so it is fitting that we recognize and we remember Staff Sergeant Gene Vance Jr., who was killed in combat on May 19, 2002, exactly 16 years ago. Gene Vance Jr. is remembered for his extraordinary valor, saving the lives of 2 fellow Americans and 18 Afghani soldiers, despite being critically wounded. Whereas during this long war, West Virginia members of all 5 service branches have participated in both active duty and contingency operations. Regrettably, 41 service members from the state of West Virginia have been killed. Another 365 were wounded in action, and at least 19 West Virginia Guardsmen, and we're only counting Guardsmen in this, have been lost to suicide during the same time frame. And whereas, in addition to Gene Vance Jr., West Virginia servicemen and women from this local area who died in combat include Brent Cole from Reedsville, Daniel Maringer from Morgantown, Anissa Sharrow from Grafton, Andrew Martin Bo Harper from Maysville, and Thomas Wilson from Morgantown. And whereas the global war on terror has been devastating to the families of those who were killed, wounded, or committed suicide in service of our great country, therefore, I am very pleased to present this citation from the House of Delegates of the state of West Virginia.
The office of Senator Joe Manchin will be represented by Regional Coordinator Justin Ray.
Good morning. I'd first like to thank Michael Mintz for allowing our office to be a part of this special event this morning. I'd also like to thank all these service members in attendance today for your service to our country. You know, we owe you all a debt of gratitude that can never really fully be paid. So the least we can do is come here and gather and show our support to you, because you all lay so much on the line every single day for us, for our freedom. We also gather here to pay tribute to Gene Vance Jr. For his sacrifices he made to our country and ultimately paying the ultimate sacrifice. Senator Manchin was unable to attend, but he wanted me to come and give a greeting on his behalf. It is my distinct honor to welcome our veterans, their families, and the community of supporters attending the 7th anniversary of Gene Vance Jr. Day. When visitors come to West Virginia, I jump at the chance to tell them we have more veterans per capita than most any other state in the nation. We have fought in more wars, shed more blood, and lost more lives for the cause of freedom than most any other state. We have always done the heavy lifting and never complained. We have mined the coal, that forged the steel, that built the guns, ships, and factories that have protected and continue to protect our country to this day. I am so deeply proud of what West Virginians have accomplished and what we will continue to accomplish to protect the freedoms we hold so dear. Today's lovely ceremony shows that our entire nation grieves at the loss of a service member and that their service is truly never forgotten. The sudden loss of any one life is one life too many. When those lives are lost in battle, fighting for their nation, it is with great appreciation that they are memorialized as a daily reminder of brave men and women who love our country so dearly. Today is an opportunity to remember the souls we've lost, to support those who are injured, and to continue to pray for those still engaged in this global war on terror. This beautiful ceremony is unique to Morgantown and the Mountain State, providing all with the opportunity to gather and honor the legacy of our American heroes. Again, I appreciate the efforts of the West Virginia National Guard, City of Morgantown, the Gene Vance Jr. Foundation for the catastrophically injured, and all those who contributed to making this special event possible to honor and support our service members. With the warmest regards, United States Senator Joe Manchin.
Senator Shelley Moore Capital will be represented by Representative Heather Lilly.
Thank you to each of you that are in attendance today, and a special thanks to our service members who put their lives on the line every day for our freedom. The Senator unfortunately could not be with us today, but she's provided me with a greeting to share on her behalf. Thank you all for attending the 7th Annual Gene Vance Jr. Day, honoring the memory and sacrifices of not only Morgantown's own Staff Sergeant Gene Arden Vance Jr., but all of our veterans, defenders, and first responders. Unfortunately, I'm unable to be with you in person. However, I am with you in spirit and wish you all the very best on this day of remembrance. Today, we honor the sacrifice of Staff Sergeant Gene Arden Vance Jr., killed in action on May 19, 2002, while serving in Afghanistan. Many of you personally knew Staff Sergeant Vance, and much will be said today about his heroism, kindness, and reputation as a man of few words. Perhaps a few of you served with Staff Sergeant Vance and know his service with 19th Group at home and abroad. Gene's life was ended far too early, but his memory lives on through the impact he made on all of our lives. As a mother, I can only imagine the heartache the family and friends must feel, and I give you all my sincerest condolences for your loss. Staff Sergeant Vance's legacy lives on through numerous designations, such as the Gene Vance Jr. Foundation, which provides much-needed support to wounded veterans and their families, and through the Gene Arden Vance Jr. Memorial Drive, dedicated in 2016. These designations serve as a reminder of the few who have given so much. The unwavering support of West Virginians like yourselves continue to show for our veterans makes me proud to be a fellow West Virginian and serve as your United States Senator. Sincerely, Shelley Moore Capito.
Governor Jim Justice will be represented by Thomas Kirk, Deputy Secretary of the Military Affairs and Public Safety.
Good morning. Cabinet Secretary Jeff Sandy, Governor Jim Justice have given me the honor and privilege of representing them here today. Please allow me to read the following. Greetings from Governor Justice. As Governor, it's my privilege to recognize the 7th Annual Gene Vance Jr. Day in Morgantown. Representing all fallen American heroes, Gene Vance Jr. symbolizes the courage and the strength of the brave men and women who fight and die for this nation. By honoring Gene, we pay tribute to all Mountain State soldiers who are now serving or have ever served in the global war on terror. Defenders of liberty, the United States Armed Forces make up the finest military power of the world. They are better trained, better equipped, and better prepared for battle. Someone once said, freedom does not come without a price, and the independence we enjoy is owed to the courageous men and women of our military. Let me take this opportunity to applaud all those responsible for making this event possible. I commend your hard work and commitment to this cause. Please accept my congratulations on a job well done. On behalf of the citizens of West Virginia, I extend my sincere best wishes. Sincerely, Jim Justice, Governor. As a Vietnam-era veteran, a proud member of the United States Navy Special Projects, it is my esteemed honor to be here today and to recognize my brothers and sisters in uniform and to all those that stayed at home and supported the effort. Thank you very much.
President E. Gordon Gee, School President for West Virginia University, will be represented by Stephen Riffin, Interim Director of West Virginia University Veterans Affairs.
Hi, I am Steve Griffon, Interim Director of Veterans Affairs at West Virginia University. President Gee sends his regrets that he cannot be here today to pay tribute to Sergeant Vance and the United States military. As West Virginia University's representative, I put down a few words, hopefully, to pay tribute to this great patriot. I'm also honored and humbled to be here on this day. There are pacifists in every generation. Today is no different from those generations of the past. It wasn't until the early 1900s that the term pacifist rose as the opposition to war in the military. They believe in nonviolent means in accomplishing the same objectives as a military operation. That is, lasting peace. This is to their credit, but also to their reckless philosophy. But it's to those brave American heroes who fought to defend our country that we owe our gratitude, that we owe the freedom that we all enjoy today. Staff Sergeant Vance and men and women like him are exceptional examples of the term uncommon valor. The name of Sergeant Vance should be ever attached to that term. That's because soldiers, like Sergeant Vance, love their country not just with their voices, but with their hearts, and with their loyalty to duty, honor, country. As all patriots well know, everyone knows a great gratitude that can never be repaid by those who sacrificed everything. In the face of hostile fire and imminent danger, they press on, and on, and on. As Winston Churchill said, we sleep safely at night because rough men stand ready to visit violence on those who would harm us. We're also reminded by the Gospel, John chapter 15, verse 13, there's no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. So spend time with your loved ones and those who mean the most to you, and please pray for our troops. Thank you, and next weekend, have a wonderful Memorial Day.
Representing the West Virginia Army National Guard will be Command Sergeant Major Philip Cantrell.
Good morning. What a beautiful day we have today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start by saying thank you to Michael and Sergeant Major Riggs and the Morgantown staff for putting this on and hosting such a wonderful event. To the family of Gene Vance, thank you for continuing to carry his torch. It's my honor to be here today to celebrate the first day of Armed Forces Week with each of you in honor of Gene Vance and for his service to our country. We start this week with a day like today to remember those who are currently serving in uniform, and at the end of the week we will end it with Memorial Day, where we'll remember those who have fallen and gone on before us, but establish the footpath that we continue to carry for those who serve currently. It's my honor to represent the men and women of the West Virginia National Guard on behalf of Major General James Hoyer, the Adjutant General. You should each be proud and assured to know that we have an outstanding National Guard here in West Virginia. Our soldiers and airmen are well trained and ready to serve the people of West Virginia or deploy in support of a national mission. We're fortunate in this country that we have young men and women who volunteer to serve our country and serve our nation in our military in times of need. Especially when you think about the service members who choose to join the military service today with a clear understanding that they could be and will be called to war. This takes courage, and everyone should be thankful for their commitment to protecting our way of life and our freedoms. We don't do this because we have to, we do this because our nation needs us to do it. As a soldier, I can comment on our appreciation for the support and love from our families and friends that keep us motivated to accomplish all of our missions and continue to serve. It's days like today and events like today that keep us in the uniform and make us want to serve and be a part of this organization. So thank you very much for your continued support, your love, and everything that you do to continue to carry on names like Gene Vance and those soldiers who have given the ultimate sacrifice. I wish you all a great day, and I want to leave you with Mountaineers are always free.
I will now read the names of the fallen in the state of West Virginia. These names have come to fruition since roughly 2000 and forward. As you can see from the other names behind me, West Virginians have been involved in conflict pre-World War I. Staff Sergeant Gene A. Vance Jr. Lance Corporal Justin T. Thatcher. Corporal Emilio J. Jimenez II. Petty Officer Jeffrey S. Taylor. Corporal William B. Folks. Corporal Jason N. Markhand. Sergeant First Class Dwayne A. Thornsberry. Chief Petty Officer Nicholas H. Null. Staff Sergeant Asiya A. Shrio. Specialist Danny B. Daniels II. Lance Corporal Bradley L. Parker. Staff Sergeant Jeremy A. Brown. Staff Sergeant Stephen A. Seeley. Corporal Benjamin D. Tiffner. Specialist Julian A. Beresford. Staff Sergeant Ryan David Hammond. PFC Richard W. Hafford. Sergeant DeForest L. Talbot. Staff Sergeant Darren D. Bonkammer. Staff Sergeant Robert F. White. Sergeant J. McCain. Staff Sergeant Jesse A. Alt. First Sergeant Robert N. Barton II. Staff Sergeant Roger C. Turner Jr. Sergeant Bobby E. Beasley. Corporal Brian J. Richardson. Sergeant Brian C. Karim. PFC Michael J. Slater. Captain Garrett T. Lawton. Specialist David A. Hess. PFC, Ernest H. Stuphin. Lance Corporal, John T. Bird II. Specialist, Brian S. Olbirch. Sergeant Matthew D. Hunter. Corporal, Daniel F. Maringer. Sergeant Jamie S. Nichols. PFC, Andrew M. Harper. Corporal, Joshua S. Wilfong. Sergeant First Class, Odie McVeigh. Lance Corporal, Adam J. Crumpler. Chief Warrant Officer 4, John W. Uchman. Staff Sergeant, Stanley B. Reynolds. Chief Warrant Officer 4, Brent S. Cole. Captain, David E. Van Camp. And Petty Officer First Class, Kevin S. Rux. As we continue on with today's ceremony, we will now lay wreaths in honor of the fallen and of Gene. First will be from the City of Morgantown, presented by Mayor Bill Kowicki with special guest Greg Gardner. Thank you. Next will be from the Daughters of the American Revolution, along with a Gold Star presentation to Mrs. Vance from the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution for Woodburn Chapter, presented by Jane Lark and Joan Gibson.
The goals of the National Society Daughters of American Revolution are to promote education, preserve history, and promote patriotism. We are here today to support the Gene Vance Jr. Day. Would all DAR members present please stand briefly and be recognized? Thank you, ladies. Our West Virginia State Regent of National Daughters of the American Revolution is Melinda Davis. One of her projects during her administration, which is very near and dear to our hearts, is to honor Gold Star mothers. She is accomplishing this in a twofold manner. First, she has commissioned beautiful bronze plaques that will be placed in the state at a later, those locations will be announced at a later date. She is also compiling a book of remembrance honoring Gold Star mothers, which also memorializes their fallen child. The names for this book are being submitted by chapters and individuals in West Virginia. It will include names from the time of the American Revolution through today. This publication will be housed in the West Virginia Archives and will be ready for viewing at the end of Melinda's term, which ends in 2019. Woodburn Chapter, West Virginia Daughters of the American Revolution, submitted June Carol Steele Vance's name to be included in this book, along with her son, Gene Arden Vance Jr. Melinda's state pin, which many of us wear proudly, is a gold starburst. At this time, Joan Gibson, Regent of Woodburn Chapter, representing all West Virginia daughters, will present to June Vance our West Virginia Gold Starburst pin as a token of our affection and as an acknowledgement of her great sacrifice and loss. We hope that she will wear it proudly. Thank you.
Next, the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution from Colonel John Edmonds Chapter will now presented by Miss Elizabeth Congus. And the final wreath of the day will be from the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, Colonel Zaquil Morgan Chapter, presented by Miss Rebecca Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for coming today. And again, please let us take a moment to recognize why we're here, for the fallen, the family of the fallen, and for Gene's family. That concludes today's ceremony. For those of you that are participating in the bike ride, that will be following after we've completed the official photographs, which will be required for all service members and all other personnel participating. Thank you very much.